Hey YouTube, coming out with another Ultra League team, and this one is built around the SKUNTANK who got buffed in the last season with this season with reduced Trailblaze. So Trailblaze is now quicker to get to. So it's a very straightforward ABB style team. Let's make sure I spelled the name right. I did. So a very straightforward ABB style team. Use SKUNTANK as the safe swap. Try and draw out a ground essentially. Try and draw out like a mud boy or something. If it's a mud boy, great because you can hit Trailblaze. If it's like something else, you can just kind of like a steel or something. You just kind of crunch and stuff like that. And then virizion with the double kick Sacred Sword will deal, and the grass, if it's a mud boy, will deal with all that. And then tentacruel in the back. Tentacruel can also act as a safe swap in a pinch. But we want to test out how SKUNTANK looks as a safe swap. So in this lead, I don't think I need to leave immediately because Tentacruel is going to have a bad matchup. And I do have a decent matchup with the Leaf Blades here, because I'm just going to get to them very quick, right? So throw one, get 50% damage. I assume it'll be a Shadow Ball, be a weird bait for Surf here. So I'm going to shield it up, probably stay in and throw one more Leaf Blade to grab a shield here, or take this out. And they do shield, and at this point I'm like, I can probably go and win CMP here, because they need one more. So I'm going to throw that there, and then I'll probably go into the SKUNTANK right away, because again, when you play these style teams, one, you want to draw it out, and two, taking away the Shadow Ball option here, forcing them to throw Surf. They chip again. I'm not going to shield. There is your steal. So this is kind of like one of the answers to SKUNTANK, right? Because it just resists the poison jab. All I can do is crunch. Crunch will chip, but this is a Registeel, so not anything that matters, which is okay. I will go down here. They do get the Zap Cannon off, obviously. Not enough to take me out. Does not lower my attack because that also got nerfed. So I get a second crunch off. At this point, I'm just like, let's instant swap because I don't want to get like farmed down, have them come with energy and get a focus blast off, stuff like that. So with the 50-second timer being way more aggressive, get the Sacred Sword off. Out comes a Typhlosion. They try to catch the Sacred Sword on the Jellicent, but I held it back, so Leaf Blade will take this out. Let's get off the Sacred Sword to take out the Typhlosion, and then with the Tentacruel in the back, this thing is just a easy cleanup. But I think they try to commit to the farm down here, and that is very difficult to do. I feel like that should have registered and take me out, because 3 double kicks is 9, and 2 incinerates is 10, and I think the incinerate is supposed to register on the 9 to take me out. I think, I'm not positive. I'm almost like 90% sure that's how it's supposed to work. Anyways, so into SKUNTANK met with a Tentacruel. So this is an interesting matchup because we're both doing resisted poison moves. We're both going to have neutral moves, Crunch versus Scald. We both just shield up the first. I'm just matching shields because they shielded a Crunch the first time too. So unfortunately, crunches are not doing a ton. I wonder, let me just check if the Shadow Skunk is better. My guess is that it will be for a couple reasons, but let me just check. And if you have a Shadow Skunk, I would recommend it. Just in situations like this, it makes a world of a difference. SKUNTANK, Shadow 31, non-Shadow 37. So there's only a 6 difference in the rankings. Let me see in the matchups what the matchups say. Regular is 19 and 12, and then actually the Shadow is 18 and 3, so technically you lose more there, and your rating's higher. So why is the Shadow ranked higher? Interesting. Anyways, Tentacruel going to Acid Spray down and just out Poison Jab here. What is your stat product? I mean, Ultra League's kind of tough to figure out what's a good stat product. I don't look at them. 3900 is probably a little under. 157 attack, 122 defense, lots of stamina, 204. Gets up to between level 45 and 50, so lots of XLs to actually get this thing up here. But yeah, doesn't seem like there's too much of a difference with Shadow and non-Shadow. I thought because you're relying so much on the Poison Jab damage, and because you have a Trailblaze to boost your attack, I thought that you would probably, like my logic, again, despite what the record says, the record actually says that the non-Shadow is better for record perspective. But from just like a logic perspective, why a shadow should be better is poison jab's a hard hitting move. Trailblaze boosts your attack, and you're more of a medium to high attack build Pokemon anyways. So when you have everything aligning for you to just be an attack heavy Pokemon, you might as well just get the extra 20% shadow bonus on top of that, right? Because you already have a hard hitting poison jab. If you boost it with Trailblaze and then you had the shadow on top, any sort of neutral situation, the poison jab is going to do a lot. So that's, I think, my logic as to why I would prefer the shadow for this Pokemon. I just did not have one, or I had like this one already built up or something from previous seasons. So that is why I used it. But if you want to use the shadow, it makes sense. But in this matchup, Virizion is just taking care of a team very weak to it. I'm surprised there was even Obstagoons with counter nerfed. Yeah, I think you're going to see obviously significantly less counter users. Great lead, they're going to have to get out into something. That something is a Skeledirge. You don't have a immediate answer for Skeledirge. This is kind of tough. Skeledirge is tough. You do have a poison, a water, which is nice, but poison is resisted on the ghost. Fighting is double resisted on the ghost. You're a grass, so that gets lit up. You do have crunch on skunk and water on tentacruel, so from that perspective, it's decent. Get a scald off on the Magnezone. I'm a shadow, so this will hurt a lot if they let it go. They are not shadow, so not as, like if it was shadow on shadow, that probably would have come close to one-shotting. But they live, they go mirror shot, which is resisted, so I get off an acid spray. And they shield? What? You know I have a Virizion on the lead, and Wild Charge is resisted. It's going for a mirror shot again, not going to do much damage. What do you have in the back that you're scared to bring in the back Pokemon here? That would make sense. Why you're scared? Because you have a Feraligatr. But all you did is burn the shield and let me get a bunch of energy, so not the greatest play. Easily get to 2 Leaf Blades, not enough to take out. I'm going to force them to throw here, and then I'll just let this go and go into Skunk and just Poison Jab down. So goodbye Ice Beam, that's fine, it does not matter. Resist the Claws, easy takedown there. Okay, Talonflame, tough, obviously, but we're going into Skunk anyways. Oh, we're going to Tentacruel, which is interesting because that's a pretty hard answer. So what I'm going to do is try and fight for Switch. I already know where this is going. What happened in the last video yesterday if you watched it? Well, what happened is I messed up the mid game because the game screwed me over. Now, I remember messing this mid game up. Was it the game's fault or was it my fault? It's my fault. Okay, I just did not count. Had to burn 2 shields. That's my bad. I remember screwing up this mid game. I just did not remember if it was my fault or the game's fault. This one is 100% my fault. If I was counting, I would have definitely thrown the move to have taken it out or grabbed a shield and not have to burn a shield of my own. I mean, I would have burned a shield if they shielded, but not great. And now they have a Dragalge, which is a poison. So Virizion's gonna have trouble, and also a dragon. So that is tough for this team, and this is just a tough tough team comp to deal with. So there's like no win con. This is just not happening. So let me just actually put in Team Builder, because I put this team together. One, I don't have a Drapion. So you're like, why are you using Tentacruel instead of Drapion? I do not have a Drapion, so that is why I'm not using it. You can 100% use Drapion. I just use Skunk. If you use this in Tentacruel, I use this third Virizion because that is what I used Chestnut in the beginning, so I thought that's a good idea. It is the 4th recommended Pokemon. See, so that, again, I didn't even use P-Poke for this. I think I put it as a top team, but I did just this off the top of my head based on the Chestnut double poison team I used in the Great League. Virizion is number 4 suggestion. The other top 3 are just Gastrodon, Malamar, Swampert. So a Mud Boy or something with superpower makes sense to deal with the poisons. Not poisons, the steals or ground types potentially. But I like Virizion despite just getting in a very, very tough matchup there. Drifblim. Throwing a Mystical Fire. Drifblim does have options with Astonish. This one going with Mystical Fire, which lowers your attack. What I don't love about it is that it's not a super hard hitting move and it's non-stab. You don't get same type attack bonus on it. So as a base sort of damage move, it's not the greatest. They make a nice catch on Clefable, knowing that, I mean, I could have thrown Trailblaze as a neutral, but I have a Tentacruel. And, wow, do you remember? Not wow. I don't know why I said wow. Remember in that yesterday's video when I said that Swift is garbage and there's no point of using it unless you're kind of, you're going to get bait, you have to bait, or you're just kind of, Moonblast is resisted? Well, watch what happens when you have to use it against a full health Tentacruel. Okay, that was like 15 to 20%. Fairy Wind is resisted. Here comes another 15 to 20%. Maybe 20% because I'm at half now. Fairy Winds are doing a little bit of chip. Here comes a third one. I'm still not threatened at all. Take that Swift. Okay, so they had 3 Swifts to get me down to the red. But that is 3 charge moves, which I just completed the full farm down, and I have 2 Scalds coming out of it because of it. Yeah, go watch yesterday's video. I basically cover why the Swift just is not it on Clefable. Other people actually to answer the question from that video. Again, I'm sorry, I've been reading your comments. I have not been responding between work and just life and 2 videos a day. It's just I don't have the time to respond like I used to, but I do read them. And to answer a lot of people's questions about the Clefable running Meteor Mash, which was the recommended moveset before, and it's a good answer for fairies. If you watch that video, I actually ran, did I film that one? I ran into a Clefable with the Meteor Mash and it hit me by surprise, and it was definitely caught me off guard. Clefable with Meteor Mash and Moonblast was already a top 40 Pokemon last season. Now, if you don't want to run Swift, Fairy Wind still got buffed this season. So if you just want to run the same moveset as last season, Fairy Wind, Meteor Mash, Moonblast, it should play better because Fairy Wind is buffed. And like I said in the video, in the Great League analysis Beyond the Hype, and kind of what I mentioned in yesterday's video, Swift is great for 2 reasons. And those 2 reasons are you need to bait, or you're only going to get to one move. You just need to like get to a quick move and throw it. So the majority of the time I'm just going straight Fairy Wind, Moonblast anyways. So I think in theory, Meteor Mash is fine, but there will be certain cases that if you run Meteor Mash, Moonblast, there will be certain cases where you're like, dang, I wish I had a Swift that I can at least do like a bait move or chip here. So don't get me wrong, it does come in very helpful from that perspective, but if you want to run Fairy Wind, Meteor Mash, Moonblast, I think 1, you'll catch people off guard, especially fairies potentially with the Meteor Mash, and 2, I think it still will play pretty well because it was already pretty highly ranked last season, and Fairy Wind is still buffed this season, right? So that would be my thoughts on Clefable. As for this team, Crunch and Trailblaze, I think it works. Again, for the reason that I mentioned earlier, I think that Shadow is better. Just get that extra. If you're going to have a hard-hitting fast move and buff your attack anyways with Trailblaze, you might as well just boost your attack with the Shadow bonus anyways. Tentacle versus Drapion, SKUNTANK as the safe swap. I still think if you're going to use this team, I think SKUNTANK probably a slightly better safe swap. Although you can run, I'm running Acid Spray and Scald on Tentacruel. You can also run Blizzard if you really want to catch some people off guard. SKUNTANK is a fine safe swap though. Actually, I wonder in the rankings which one is ranked higher in terms of all these. I mean, we all know that Tentacruel with Blizzard though. Yeah, that makes sense. So if you put in safe swaps, wow, Drapion's actually quite low in the Ultra League. If you put in safe swaps in PvP, oh no, that's a closers. I was about to say, what? That doesn't make sense. Drapion should be a top. Okay, I was wondering why. Oh, okay, that makes way more sense. Those numbers, the math wasn't math in there. Okay, Drapion is the number 2 ranked safe swap. Shadow is preferred. Skuntank is the 15th overall, so that's not bad. So definitely usable. Tentacruel is 67, and that is with Blizzard instead of Acid Spray. So yeah, Drapion. I think Drapion Skuntank would work, and I think if you run that team, you can use either. Obviously, just the spamminess of Drapion is probably preferred. Aqua Tail Crunch 4-5 over Skuntank is a harder hitting fast move with Poison Jab, but 7 to a Crunch and Trail Play. So you just want that like spam of Drapion. So we'll take a Scald here. Not going to do much. Scald. We'll take them out. What do they have left? Because I've been not going off topic a little bit here. They have a Talonflame, so this is not great. And the game is once again just screwing me over. Quadruple leg in there, so I couldn't even get a move off or time properly. So they get CMP off. I'll get an Acid Spray, but by this point, they're going to be able to incinerate me down here. Not quite. I did Acid Spray them, so perhaps a Sacred Sword does take them out from this range, but these Incinerates are really going to add up. Their defense is lower ×2, so this actually may take out. It does, because Talonflame's pretty glassy, and I do take it out for the win. So, thanks game, but not today. So good lead. Good catch by my opponent, or just bad, just throwing right on when I get to the move. That is also not smart. So Tentacruel, we're going to go mirror match here. I always like do as I say, not as I do. Because I would like yell at not yell. I would be explaining to a subscriber in that situation. If you were in a 3-turn fast move with your opponent, mirror match, like you both have 3-turn moves there, double kick and dragon tail, and if you want to throw right away, one, you probably shouldn't throw right away because the best of the best don't throw right away. And 2, if you're going to throw right away, just wait the half a second to ensure that their 3-turn fast move is in the middle of the animation so they can't catch. Meanwhile, I just threw right on as soon as I got to the move immediately, and they caught immediately. So not great. Go for the double kick or Sacred Sword here, hoping to chip a bunch. Unfortunately, they shield. And now we are just going to see the spamminess of Drapion compared to Skuntank. Yes, they throw Crunch, so all their moves are resisted. But when a Crunch comes every 5 on their end, and a Crunch comes every 7 on their end, and they got an energy advantage, you are not in a good situation. Because for sure, their 3rd Crunch is going to come before your 2nd Crunch, and their 4th is going to come before your 3rd. So you are in a bad situation, and then they come in and just try and snipe. And I don't want to save Virizion. I should have saved Virizion. You know what? I should have saved the shield here. I had a shield advantage. And the Dragon Claw was there. And so I end up trying to farm down and having the shield here. And then I lose CMP. And again, this is me just not knowing how much energy my opponent has. Because I'm just like, oh yeah, farm down, double kick. Or first of all, I should be throwing Sacred Sword, not Leaf Blade. Because Leaf Blade is resisted. I should be throwing Sacred Sword. Second of all, they have Crunch resisted, but they have a move to take me out because I don't even know how much energy they have. So, again, these are the types of things that why I didn't hit Crunch. I mean, why I didn't hit Legend 2 seasons ago. Again, don't get me wrong. I did hit last season, and you can get by and hit Legend without all these things, all these like knowing all the ins and outs and counting and all that stuff, but like just watching these matchups, I lost at least 2 there where had I counted and had I played properly and not thrown immediately and all the stuff that I say to do, had I done that, I would have won 2 more games here. And those are the types of stuff that like ends up costing you rating in the long run there. So, yeah, again, I've been getting away with it for the most part, except for 2 seasons ago. But those are the types of things, if you have time and energy and you want to get better at the game, like you can't be making those mistakes that I just made there. So boo for me. Anyways, that is it. That's the Ultra League team. I got my sort of core breaking. No, I don't. I have my first, I'm trying to remember the order of this thing. I've got my first team, which is Bronzer, Purloin, and Pika Libre coming this afternoon for the Little Cup. I do have one more Little Cup with Diggersby, but holy smokes, I am looking at the views, and unfortunately, my first Little Cup team, hour 45 in, 10 out of 10 on the views, nowhere even close to number 9. The click-through rate is absolute garbage, and I'm starting to think that those 3 Little Cup teams is all I'm gonna do, because the Clefable yesterday and the Ultra League did not do bad. I did not think I'd see the day where an Ultra League team would do better than a Little Cup team, but people are not enjoying the little Shuckle and Bronzer Cup here. So I think we'll do the couple more there, but if you got some Ultra League teams, please send them my way, because I don't think I'm going to do any more Little Cup teams besides. I mean, we're going to get to Friday, and then I think there's a community day this weekend. I think it's the Ponytail community day, so I can do that. And then I think they announced when does this Psychic Spectacular event return? Wednesday, September 18th. Oof. Looks like we're doing 3 videos on next Tuesday with the two top teams there. Okay, so there's the next event on Wednesday. Interesting. Okay, let me know. Yeah. And then let me know your thoughts on this. I know I'm not covering it much, / at all. Let me know your thoughts on the Dynamax raids. So, 1, I know they're level 1 raids. You can solo them with the worst Pokemon you have. I did my first one with double, and you needed a lot of fast moves and charge moves to get to your Dynamax. And then I took 2 or 3 to take it out. And then I got a Charmander, and I just immediately evolved it. And so the Charizard battling against these Dynamax level 1s just was destroying them. So it makes sense even from a level 1 Dynamax Pokemon just to evolve the Bulbasaur or the Charmander or the Squirtle to the 3rd and just run with whatever moveset, and you'll just take it easy. It'll be an easy thing. I don't know about this. I just don't know the relevance of it. So I was walking with my friend, and we were talking about this, and I was like, I did them. They seem easy. I don't know what the point of them. And she's like, yeah, it's just because they're in the main series game. I'm like, I know they're in the main series game, but bring them from the main series game to this without actually any value does not seem useful. And maybe in the long run, they can be maybe used for raids or something. I don't know. I don't know what the long-term plan for these things are. But short-term, they just seem like being introduced to the game for the sake of introducing them in the game and implementing something new, even though it's not useful, which is kind of weird to me. So maybe they have a plan with this long term. If I miss something on this Dynamax stuff, if we know more, I've been watching Trainer Tips has put out a few videos on it. I watched Zoe's her first go around, because she was one of the first, because again, Australia gets the advantage there. One of the only advantages they do get in terms of they get a lot of bugs too, but they get the first to showcase all these new things. And yeah, there was just all these content creators have more questions than answers. They're okay, this is how it works, but I don't understand. Here's all the questions we still have, and Niantic's not explaining anything on this stuff, so I don't know. Anyways, let me know if you know more about Dynamax that I'm just missing. And again, I didn't even play the main series games. I know it exists, but let me know if there's any what is the benefit of the main series games? I know that they're just these big Pokemon battling each other. Is there any other value to them? Let me know if you play the main series game. Comment below what is up with this stuff. But that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.